Hello everybody and welcome to our today's class. The topic is hypercapnia, hypocapnia and dyspnea. What you all understand about hypercapnia and hypocapnia? It means there is something to do with carbon dioxide, isn't it? Excuse me. Now all we know is carbon dioxide is a gaseous product of the body's metabolism and is normally expelled through the lungs, isn't it? Now, hypercapnia is also known as hypercarbia, and there is CO2 retention. Is a condition of abnormally elevated carbon dioxide levels in our body. Normally, in general, we will not be able to retain carbon dioxide in our body. Why? Because you know that carbon dioxide stimulates the respiratory center. So whenever you are retaining retaining the carbon dioxide, then there will be increase in carbon dioxide level in the body and there will be stimulation of the respiratory center, and finally you will hyperventilate and you will wash out the excess of carbon dioxide. So what are the condition, or why sometimes or somebody is having hypercapnia? We will be knowing in the further slides. The conditions causing hypercapnia: breathing the air containing excess carbon dioxide content. In case of asphyxia, hyperventilation, lung disease or diminished consciousness. These are the conditions when the person is unable to wash away the excess of carbon dioxide content. Okay. Now, what is asphyxia? Asphyxia is a condition characterized by combination of hypoxia and hypercapnia due to obstruction of air passage. So, what is happening here? There is simultaneous decrease in oxygen content and increase in carbon dioxide contents. And why this is happening? Because of the obstruction of the air passage. Now what happens when there is hypercapnia? Hypercapnia has effect on the respiration, on the blood, on cardiovascular system and the central nervous system. What are the effects? Let's see. During hypercapnia, the respiratory centers are stimulated excessively. It leads to dyspnea, isn't it? And what is dyspnea? Dyspnea is shortness of breath. In the blood, the pH of blood reduces and the blood becomes acidic. Hypercapnia is associated with tachycardia and increased blood pressure. And during hypercapnia, the nervous system is also affected, leading to headache, depression, and laziness. Now, coming to the treatment of hypercapnia. Hypercapnia, what all things we have to do? First, if it is because of excess of carbon dioxide content in the inspired air, then the first thing we have to do is to remove the person from that environment, and such as during the conditions where if the person is trapped in between fire, then you have to remove the person from that place. Okay. And what other things you have to do? This may require intubation or invasive ventilation, the use of long-term non-invasive ventilation therapy, or you have to do CPR, and there are antidotes to drug overdose. When there is overdose, which drugs? Drugs which cause respiratory depression can lead to hypercapnia, isn't it? So if a person has consumed such types of drugs, then you have to give antidotes to those drugs. Okay. Now, what is intubation? Intubation or tracheal intubation, usually simply referred to as intubation, is the placement of a flexible plastic tube into the trachea or the windpipe to maintain an open airways or to serve as a conduit through which you will be administering certain drugs. Okay, you can see, you must have seen this type of instruments, or if you have not seen, you will be seeing this instrument. Okay, non-invasive ventilation therapy, that uh, that one was a type of invasive. Okay, the instrument is going inside your body, and this non-invasive ventilation therapy, this is a type of mask you are giving to the patient. You are applying a mask, nasal cannula, or the mask through which you are providing excess of oxygen so that the person is able to uh, overcome the hypercapnia or the hypoxia. Okay. Now coming to hypocapnia. What is hypocapnia? Similarly, if hypercapnia is excess of retention of CO2, hypocapnia is decrease in CO2 content in the blood. So hypocapnia, also known as hypocarbia, sometimes incorrectly called acapnia, is a state of reduced carbon dioxide in the blood. Hypocapnia usually results from deep or rapid breathing, known as hyperventilation. What are the conditions causing hypocapnia? After prolonged hyperventilation. So, who will hyperventilate? Who will hyperventilate? One who is doing excess of exercise is hyperventilating, or when there is some psychiatric condition. Psychiatric patients are sometimes hyperventilating themselves, and hypocapnia can also be caused by conditions where metabolic conditions where carbon dioxide production is reduced by our body, and when there is respiratory alkalosis. What is respiratory alkalosis? Respiratory alkalosis is a disturbance in acid and base balance due to alveolar hyperventilation. What happens? There is less of CO2 in the body. So, because of because of CO2, decreased CO2 content, so there will be decrease in acidic content of our body, and so the condition is called alkalosis. And since this is because of the decreased respiration, or means decreased CO2, it is known as respiratory alkalosis. Alveolar hyperventilation leads to a decreased partial pressure of arterial carbon dioxide. Hypocapnia also results in bronchoconstriction in order to decrease ventilation. Okay. Now, what are the effects of hypocapnia? Hypocapnia also have effects on respiration, in blood, and on central nervous system. What are the things you will be seeing in hypocapnia? In the respiratory center, hypocapnia leads to repression of respiratory center, isn't it? Since CO2 stimulate the respiratory center, so decrease in CO2 content will depress the respiratory centers, leading to decreased rate and force of respiration. In the blood, the pH of blood increases, leading to respiratory alkalosis, and there is decrease in calcium concentration. This will cause decrease in calcium concentration, will lead to tetany, which is characterized by neuromuscular hyperexcitability and carpopedal spasm. In the central nervous system, there can be dizziness, mental confusion, muscular twitching, and loss of consciousness are common features of hypocapnia. Now, how you will treat hypocapnia? The simple, you can say, since this is decreased in CO2 content, so you can give excess of CO2 to the patient to inhale and there will be correction of hypocapnia. No. Since hypocapnia is based on overbreathing, usually hypocapnia is because of overbreathing. Successful treatment of hypocarbia is based on addressing the cause, that is, why there is chronic hyperventilation. Therefore, treatment of hypocapnia is same as that of treatment of hyperventilation. So, how you are going to treat the hyperventilation? Ask the patient to breathe through pursed lips. Breathe slowly into paper bag or cupped hands. Attempt to breathe into your belly rather than your chest. Means you have to have a deep breathing. Don't do shallow breathing. Hold your breath for 10 to 15 seconds at a time. Okay. Now the last thing is dyspnea. What is dyspnea? Literal meaning is difficulty in breathing or shortness of breath. You know, we are breathing. Our breathing is an unconscious act of our body. So what will happen when you are becoming conscious of your breathing? This becomes uncomfortable. So, a state in which a subject is conscious of his shortness of breath, the state is known as dyspnea. This occurs when pulmonary ventilation is increased to 3 to 4 times. What is the pulmonary ventilation rate? It is about 14 to 16 per minute, or respiratory rate is 14 to 16 per minute. So, if you are breathing more than that, then it is called dyspnea. Also, if the pulmonary ventilation is increased to 3 to 4 times, then it is called dyspneic point. This occurs when the dyspneic index falls below 60%. So, dyspnea occurs when the maximum voluntary ventilation is less than normal or the vital capacity decreases, causing maximum voluntary ventilation to decrease, and there is increase in pulmonary ventilation by 4 to 5 times. Now, what are the causes of dyspnea? Causes of dyspnea is, first one is physiologic cause and pathologic cause. You can divide. And what are the physiologic cause? Physiologic cause is severe exercise. And what is pathological causes? Pathological causes are bronchial asthma, emphysema, metabolic acidosis, and cardiac causes. Cardiac causes is also known as cardiac dyspnea. It is due to heart failure, and this heart failure produces stagnant hypoxia. Stagnant means the blood flow is stagnant or slow. So what will happen? Slow blood flow will decrease the movement of blood from the tissues. So at the tissue level, the blood which has been laden with carbon dioxide is unable to move back to the heart, and therefore oxygenation will not the oxygenation of blood will not be possible, even though your um, pulmonary ventilation is adequate, but the blood is unable to get the sufficient amount of oxygen, as well as it is unable to unload the CO2 content. Okay, and finally what is happening? The tissues are not getting the oxygen, and it is also unable to get rid of the CO2 content. Okay. Thank you. So this was a short class, very short class. Please do ask any confusion do you have. Go through the book and Please ask for any confusion. Okay, thank you.